So tonight I originally came into this wanting to talk about campaign promises and campaigns in general and the way that I originally thought that campaign promises are very rarely kept. Um, I thought that people would say things, politicians would say things in campaigns more out of a sense of wanting to get elected or reelected rather than a sense of truly wanting to accomplish anything. And the reason I thought this and I wanted to think this is because the current president um, made a number of statements during his campaign promises uh, that were central to his election. And a report that was given out, and I will post the link if I can find it in the description, um, saying that out of 36 things that President Trump wanted to do on his first day, uh, 34 of them went ignored. Um, and I did a little more research and a little more digging. And it turns out that politicians are actually a little bit more honest than we give them credit for. Um, there was a book that was written in 1985 that compared presidential promises with how well they delivered on them. And they saw that uh, for the vast majority of things that presidents and politicians say, they actually want to do them and they actually try to do them. And then they're met with various levels of success. Sometimes circumstances force them into doing things differently. Um, Sometimes they try honestly, and then Congress will get in their way, as Congress is known to do from time to time. Um, but for the most part, we can rely on the fact that if a politician says that they want to dedicate their campaign to doing something, they're going to do it. Um, this makes sense. Because if you're running for office, you want to gain the trust of your constituency, and especially if you're going to get reelected. Um, uh, there's, of course, in the last Congress, a record amount of freshmen in the latest Congress, but for the most part, people get reelected. Incumbents are favorites for a reason. Um, so I was wrong, and as I was looking at this, it turned out that um, campaign promises usually are intended to be kept, and I was surprised. Um, so I started thinking, why is it that we have a tendency to think of campaign promises as going to be broken, and why do we concentrate more on the failures? And I came up with a couple things. First of all, the things that are most likely to fail are things that are far-reaching already. It's one thing to make a campaign promise based on trying to grow the economy. Of course, you're going to try to grow the economy, even through specific measures. Those are easier promises to keep. But the more far-reaching a promise is, understandably, the harder it's going to be to deliver on that. And these are the things that like read my lips, no new taxes, or you can keep your own health plan. And the other thing that stands out about those is that we're more likely to remember spectacular failures than we are to remember moderate success. So a politician may deliver on 6 out of 10 of their campaign promises, and they're working on 3 out of those 10. But it's that one that's going to stand out to us more about, wait a second, this is what you said you were going to do, and then you didn't do it. Where is it now? It's far too early to tell with the current administration exactly what they're going to keep and what they're not going to. But the fact that there was a release out that counted the number of campaign promises about day one says that there's a lot of distrust already for this particular president, and that we're already chomping at the bit looking for these broken promises. Um, Now, whether or not I agree with what he says, I'm going to keep that to myself for a little while. But as far as following through, honestly, he seems like he's starting to do it. And maybe he didn't do it on day one, like he said, but uh, as of um, as of me recording this, he's already sent an executive order showing an intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Um, So he's already acting on a few things. Whether or not some of his bigger promises, such as immigration reform, or building a wall, or more emphasis on jobs, especially the kinds of jobs that he was referencing. Um, we'll see. But right now, I will go into it saying that I was wrong. Politicians as a whole are very good about at least attempting to make good on their campaign promises. So let this go back to what I was saying yesterday about fake news and about doing your own research. Do your research and be okay with the fact that you don't know everything. And if you're wrong, square your shoulders and say, I was wrong. Let the facts change your opinions instead of making your opinions change the way you view facts. Until next time, have a good night.